A group of people rushed into the supermarket to get food. The male employee reminded them to pay. However, the leader got angry and punched the male employee in the head. Then, the leader asked the male employee to open the drawer and give him all the money. In fear, the male employee could only follow orders. Suddenly, a girl who was shopping came to the counter. She took out an even amount of money and asked the male employee to return the change. Seeing that she was carrying a lot of money, the robbers had the intention of taking that money. However, with her sharp instincts, the girl realized that this group of people had bad intentions. Although she was aware of the danger, she remained calm and confident. She also calmly took the change from the robbers' pockets. One of the men in the group was surprised by her action. The leader was angry because he was humiliated. The leader pulled out a knife and threatened to stab the girl in the neck. After the situation had stabilized, the girl went to the checkout counter to complete her shopping. This mysterious girl's name is Oju, a former bodyguard who used to protect important national figures. After a gentle start to the evening, her life continued with unexpected secrets. Oju returned home, and soon after that, she received a call from a close friend she had not contacted for a long time. That friend was Min-hee. Min-hee invited Oju to her house to enjoy a drink together. Both of them had few friends, so they considered each other as their closest confidants. Oju quickly went to buy drinks to go to Min-hee's house, because drinking with Min-hee was the only joy in Oju's stressful life. However, when Oju arrived, she was surprised to find no trace of her friend. When Oju called, she heard the ringing sound coming from the bathroom. Oju walked over and was shocked to discover that Min-hee had done something foolish. The heartbreaking pain made Oju unable to contain this sudden loss. Among the relics that Min-hee left behind, Oju found Min-hee's favorite ballet shoes, along with a piece of paper that seemed to be a message from Min-hee. The piece of paper clearly said, "Take revenge for yourself," and below it was a web link. Min-hee was not only a friend, but she was also a talented ballet dancer. Oju and Min-hee met at a bakery. At that time, Min-hee worked as a saleswoman at the bakery. That day, Oju came to buy a birthday cake for herself. Seeing Oju lonely on her birthday, Min-hee recognized the loneliness in Oju's eyes, so Min-hee gave Oju a cake and celebrated her birthday together. It was the first time Oju had received such sincere attention, so she felt a little shy, but Min-hee seemed very comfortable and chatted enthusiastically. Min-hee brought laughter and bright colors to Oju's life. Thanks to that, the relationship between the two became closer and closer. When Oju recalled the beautiful memories, she couldn't help but blame herself for not taking good care of her close friend recently. Oju thought that was what caused the tragedy. Min-hee fell into despair and had to choose to leave the world forever. The pain weighed heavily on her heart, so Oju decided to go back and enter the website address she found on the piece of paper. It was a famous sushi restaurant. This restaurant only accepted reservations. Oju tried to order a portion of food, but after waiting for a while, she didn't see a response from the other side. A long time later, she finally received a reply. It was indeed a high-class restaurant. Even the soy sauce had to be asked clearly. Oju answered her preferences correctly, but her answer did not seem to satisfy the restaurant. The other party immediately cut off the conversation, leaving Oju confused. Oju realized that the restaurant's question was clearly a special code. While Oju was still confused, Min-hee's phone suddenly rang. The person on the other end informed that Min-hee had to wait on the west side. Next to the bus was the phone number that Min-hee had saved. The man on the other end of the line was likely the one who had harmed Min-hee. The next evening, Oju went to the meeting place and observed from afar. She saw a long-haired man driving a luxury car, delivering food. But the recipients only took one item. The rest they threw in the trash. To learn more about the situation, Oju drove to a villa deep in the forest. The next morning, when the pervert left the villa, Oju decided to break in. First, she installed a listening device and started looking for clues. What Oju discovered shocked her. She found a cabinet full of the pervert's tools. In a drawer, countless USB drives were carefully labeled. This pervert kept detailed records of each of his prey. When Oju opened a USB drive labeled ballet, disgusting images appeared, causing Oju to collapse. Min-hee was abused without her knowing. It turned out that the pervert had used anesthesia to satisfy his sick interests. He then used these images to threaten Min-hee. Even when she was performing, he always used threatening eyes to control her. This was the cause of Minhee's death. In the quiet of the night, Oh-ju secretly listened to the pervert's every move. Through that, she realized that he continued to pursue a new target. Oh-ju knew the location and time that he would appear. From there, she came up with a daring plan. Oh-ju wore Minhee's favorite outfit and appeared at the bar. When the pervert saw her, he immediately approached and started a conversation. Disgust invaded Oh-ju's mind when she heard the words from his mouth. She longed to tear out the mouth that was spewing those lies. But to achieve her goal, she had to pretend to be innocent. Very quickly, Oh-ju tricked the pervert. He took her to a luxurious Lamborghini and confidently said that he would take her to an interesting place she had never seen. Oh-ju pretended to be happy and accepted his invitation. The car stopped in front of a colorful hotel. He walked into the reception desk to ask and receive the room key. The two entered the room together, which was lavishly decorated with many unique patterns, creating a mesmerizing atmosphere. After enjoying a glass of wine, the pervert's true nature began to reveal itself. He gave Oh-ju a glass of wine mixed with sleeping pills. He thought she had fallen asleep, so he began to commit his perverted acts. He used torture tools and was satisfied with the moment he filmed and watched Oh-ju sleeping. He had no idea that he was the one who was harming himself. After the pervert was lucky to escape death, he woke up and found himself surrounded by everyone in the organization. It turned out that this organization not only smuggled drugs, but also participated in prostitution. The pervert took advantage of his position to satisfy his sinful personal desires. When the boss of the organization found out, his anger immediately exploded. He asked the pervert to deal with the consequences within 3 days. After the conversation ended, the pervert went to his best friend Jun, a pharmacist working at the drug factory. The two decided to cooperate to destroy Oh-ju. The pervert promised to pay Jun 100 million won if the plan succeeded. Elsewhere, the girl who had just escaped from hell told her tragic story to Oh-ju. These girls who were deceived were all considered slaves. The illegal organization used dirty videos to mentally threaten the girls. They turned the poor girls into tools to make money for them. When Oh-ju heard this, she thought of her unfortunate friend. Her heart became even more indignant. In anger, Oh-ju decided to destroy this illegal organization. To realize this plan, Oh-ju went to the organization she used to work for. She wanted to receive support with weapons. After Oh-ju and the girl reached an agreement, they went together to a pre-arranged location. After a while, a truck slowly approached. An old man and woman got out of the car to meet them. After receiving the money, the old man opened the armory for Oh-ju to choose. However, when Oh-ju looked at the armory, she felt disappointed. Because the guns looked like toys and were too old, they were jammed or had no lubrication. This made Oh-ju feel cheated, but the old man advised her that there is no gun that cannot be shot. Only people who do not know how to use guns. He then introduced Oh-ju to a few guns for her to choose from. He also emphasized that for him, all of them were excellent. The old woman advised Oh-ju to use another tool for hunting, and indeed, it suited her very. After Oh-ju returned home, she took care of her weapons and prepared for the upcoming battle. Before leaving, she stopped by to buy some snacks, but when she got home, she found that the girl had disappeared. Meanwhile, the boss of the organization had just finished riding. He immediately asked about Oh-ju's whereabouts. Because of fear, the pervert did not dare to tell the truth. He had to lie that Oh-ju's body was buried deep in the forest. But the boss still had no intention of letting the pervert go. The boss criticized him for his carelessness. The boss immediately took back all the business he was in charge of. Then the boss handed over the management of the business to the man in sunglasses and left. That night, the pervert took out his anger on the girl. He forced her to reveal Oh-ju's whereabouts. whereabouts, but she refused to answer. The pervert used a whip to torture her. Meanwhile, Oju was also very worried about the girl. Oju quickly searched for information about the pervert. Then Oju returned to the hotel she stayed at last time. Oju forced the receptionist to provide the necessary information. Then Oju also killed this evil receptionist. After Oju received the information, she put on the shoes that Minhee gave her and went to the racetrack. Oju began to prepare for a brutal attack. The three men looked at Oju in amazement as she entered the elevator, but when she stepped out, the three men were left with only lifeless corpses. At the racetrack, Oju discovered that this was actually a large pharmaceutical factory. Unexpectedly, no one noticed her appearance. At this moment, the boss walked out. He completely ignored Oju. He also ignored the grudge she was carrying in her heart. Then he called her over to talk. He thought that the grudge between her and the pervert was just a personal matter. This matter had nothing to do with him and his gang. He even provoked her, but Oju did not pay attention to his words. At the same time, she captured a survivor to interrogate the pervert's whereabouts. However, he refused to cooperate. At this point, Oju was almost exhausted from the battle. When she went outside, she met one of the pervert's accomplices. They were carrying a girl who had been tortured to the point of unconsciousness. This made Oju's rage flare up. Both sides prepared for a new battle. Letting him die right away was too easy for him. Oju wanted him to experience the feeling of being hunted. Seeing the weapon Oju pulled out of the car, he panicked and backed away. He kept begging her for his life. He justified that he did not know her and did not understand why she had to treat him like that. Oju just asked sarcastically if he really forgot she was the ballerina he had looked down on. Then Oju lit a big fire.